Boys, good morning. Today it is the second video of mole concept, class 11. Today I am going to discuss about laws of chemical combinations. Laws of chemical combinations, there are some important things that you must observe here. I am giving you a first example to understand the law. See, it is example number 1. Example number 1, look at the combination of nitrogen and oxygen. These two elements, nitrogen and oxygen, they are combining, and after combination they form different oxides, and the oxides are N2O, NO, N2O3, NO2 and N2O5. So there are 5 oxides of nitrogen, and their names are nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, dinitrogen trioxide, nitrogen dioxide and dinitrogen pentoxide. These are the 5 oxides formed by nitrogen. Now see their parts. In the first case, we see 28 parts of nitrogen is in combination with 16 parts of oxygen. In the second case, 14 parts of nitrogen combines with 16 parts of oxygen. In the third case, 28 parts of nitrogen combines with 48 parts of oxygen. In the fourth case, 14 parts of nitrogen combines with 32 parts of oxygen, and in the last case you see 28 parts of nitrogen combines with 80 parts of oxygen. So this is the parts that I think the mass, so I am telling parts. You see that in the first case, nitrous oxide 28 parts combined with 16 parts, 14 parts combines with 16 parts, 28 parts combined with 48 parts, 14 parts combined with 32 parts, and 28 parts combined with 80 parts. Now see, you can fix the part of any one element. Say I am fixing the part of nitrogen. Fixing the part of nitrogen as 14. Fix the part of any one element. You can fix as you like, you can fix as 1 also. Now see, here it is, I am writing 14 parts. So 28 parts, 16 parts, 14 parts, 8 parts. Here it is already 14, so don't change it. Here you make it 14 parts combined with 24 parts. Here it is already 14, so don't change it. 32, here you write 14 parts combined with 40 parts. Now you understand it, how I did it. You are fixing the part of nitrogen as 14. You can fix the part of nitrogen as 1 also, or you can fix the part of oxygen as you like. There is no problem here. Now see, fixing the part of nitrogen as 14 in all cases, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, you see the ratio of the parts of oxygen in these oxides. So the ratio of parts of oxygen in these oxides is 8:16:24:32:40. 16:24:32:40. Now see, in this ratio is simplified, can be simplified as 1:2:3:4:5. Now we come to this conclusion. This is a law of chemical combination, I am telling the law, stating the law. It can be stated in this way: when two elements combine to give more than one compounds. More than one compounds, here it is 5. When two elements combine to give more than one compounds, the ratio of the parts, the ratio of the different parts of one element, you see these are different, so you can say different. The ratio of the different parts of one element, in general you say one element, that combine with a fixed part of another element, that combine with a fixed part of another element, it is fixed, nitrogen is fixed, will always bear a simple integral ratio. So see, what I am telling the statement, you try to listen. The statement is, when two elements combine to give more than one compounds, the ratio of the different parts or different masses of one element that combines with a fixed part of another element will always bear a simple integral ratio. This law is known as law of multiple proportion. So here is a law. So very easy to understand. You can apply this law for any two elements which can form at least two compounds, more than one compounds. It is better. Say for example, carbon. Carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. Carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon monoxide. So two compounds are there. Two compounds are there: hydrogen, oxygen, water, hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen peroxide. So in many cases you will observe that two elements are combining and giving more than one compounds. In many cases you will observe it. So this is our first law. Now see another example. Example number 2. Example number 2, you see. Example number 2. See, here is a triangle. Here it is, I am writing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Three elements are taken: carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. You know that carbon and hydrogen combine to form methane. Hydrogen and oxygen combine to form water. Carbon and oxygen combine to form carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. You can write any one. Now see, here you see that the ratio of masses 12, 4 to 16. So one element which is common, fix it. The mass of hydrogen, fixing the mass of hydrogen as 2, you can get 6. So whenever you are writing 2, you are writing 6, dividing by 2. Here it is hydrogen 2, here it is hydrogen 2. Fix it. Then see the ratio of carbon to oxygen. Carbon to oxygen. The ratio of carbon to oxygen, this is equal to 6 is to 16. That is equal to 3 is to 8. Okay? 3 is to 8. Look at the combination. Now see this compound. In carbon dioxide, the ratio is, in carbon dioxide, the ratio is 12 is to 32. 12 is to 32. Carbon is 12, oxygen is 32. So you are getting, by simplifying it, dividing by 4, you are getting the same ratio. Look at this. Try to see. I have taken 3 elements. You can take any 3 elements in triangular form which can form compound with each other. Now see, when carbon combines with hydrogen, it forms methane. When hydrogen combines with oxygen, it forms water. When carbon combines with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. Now, when two elements, see 1, 2, two elements combine with a third element. This is third element. Two element combines with the third element. The ratio of masses of these two elements, clear, is either equal or some integral multiple, of these elements when they combine with each other. So if you listen to me very carefully, when two elements combine with a third element, when two elements are combining with the third element, I am talking about these two elements, this is the third element. The ratio of these two elements, carbon and oxygen, of masses, ratio of the masses of these two elements, fixing the mass of the third element का mass को fix कर लो, fixing the mass of third element is either equal or some integral multiple of the ratio when they combine with each other. देखो, when carbon and oxygen combines with each other, the ratio is coming out 3:8. When carbon and oxygen are combining with hydrogen, fixing the part of hydrogen, the ratio of carbon and hydrogen in this combination is also 3:8. So these ratio will be either equal or some integral multiple. Be careful it. Sometimes you may confuse it, that what I am telling about integral multiple. So to understand it, let us take another example of combination. Say I am taking sulfur, carbon, hydrogen. Another combination. You see that carbon and sulfur combines to form carbon disulfide, carbon and hydrogen combines to form methane, and hydrogen and sulfur combines to form H2S. You can consider any element as third element. Say you can consider this one as third element, this one as third element, this one as third element, as you like. Here I have taken the third element hydrogen. Here you can take the third element sulfur, as you like. Now see, it is the third element, so carbon and sulfur combines to form CS2. The ratio of masses is 12:64. 12 parts carbon, 64 parts sulfur, and hydrogen and sulfur combines to form H2S, and the ratio is 2:32. Now fixing the mass of the common element. Which one is common? Sulfur is common. Fixing the mass of the common element. So it is 32. You can make it 32 out of 32. So out of 32 it will be 6. Okay, fixing the mass of the common element 32, we have fixed it. You can fix out of 1 also. So fixing the mass of sulfur as 32, the ratio of carbon and hydrogen is 6:2. The ratio of carbon and hydrogen is 6:2. That is equal to 3:1. See, this is coming 3:1. So the ratio of carbon to hydrogen is 6:2, that is 3:1. This ratio will be same when these two elements will combine, or integral multiple. These two elements when combine with each other, they form methane. So in methane, the ratio is 6:4. 6:4, that is equal to 3:2. See, 6:4, it is 12:4. 12:4, carbon is 12, hydrogen is 4. So now divide it, 3:1. So see, 12:4, that is equal to 3:1. So this ratio, these two ratios are equal. So you will observe that once again I am telling, when two elements combine with a third element, the ratio of masses of these two elements, fixing the mass of the third element, which is common, is either same or some integral multiple of the ratio when these two elements combine with each other. When these two elements are combining to form methane, the ratio of combination of masses is 12:4, that is equal to 3:1, which is same as that of CH2H is 3:1. So sometimes in most of the cases you will observe the ratios are equal, and in some cases you will observe the ratios are not equal, are integral multiple of each other. Integral multiple of each other. This law is known as law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion. Reciprocal proportion. So you will write the laws with example, and you will try to understand how and why this is happening, and in case of your doubt it will be cleared when the video will be displayed. Okay. Now see, the third thing is laws of chemical combinations. There is a law of definite proportion that is very simple. I am not discussing it. Law of definite proportion, you know that in a pure compound the elements always combine in a definite ratio in their masses. This is the law of definite proportion. And you know the law of conservation of energy. The energy will be conserved. The energy will be conserved during chemical reaction. This is law of energy of conservation. Then you see vapor density. Another important point is vapor density. Vapor density. In short it is written Vd. Vapor density, this is equal to, it is a ratio of the density of a gas or vapor to that of density of hydrogen under same pressure and temperature. So when you measure the density of a gas or density of a vapor, you can find out the vapor density. By definition, vapor density is the ratio of the density of the gas or vapor to that of the density of hydrogen, when both the densities are measured under same condition of pressure and temperature. Now it is clear. It is written according to definition: density of a gas or vapor by density of hydrogen under same condition of pressure and temperature. Same condition of pressure and temperature. Clear? This is by definition. Now see, what is density? Density is the mass of a substance per unit volume. Mass of a substance per unit volume. This is density. Now this I am writing that mass of certain volume of the gas or vapor by mass of same volume of hydrogen, measured under same pressure and temperature. So in place of density we are writing mass of certain volume of the gas or vapor by mass of same volume of hydrogen, measured under same pressure and temperature. Now you know that equal volume, that means these volumes are equal, we have made it. Equal volume of all gases or vapors under similar condition of pressure and temperature will contain equal number of molecules. This is Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law states that equal volume of all gases under same condition of pressure and temperature contains same number of molecules. Now see, number of molecules same, that means we can write that mass of X molecules of the gas or vapor by mass of X molecules of hydrogen. Now the condition of pressure and temperature is over because we have come to the number of molecules. Now you see mass of X molecule, X cancelled. Therefore you can write mass of one molecule of the gas or vapor by mass of one molecule of hydrogen. Mass of one molecule of hydrogen. Now you know that mass of one molecule of a gas or vapor, that is what strictly speaking, that is molecular mass and of the gas, molecular mass of the gas or molecular mass of the vapor, and mass of one molecule of hydrogen, this is equal to 2. Therefore, the relation is vapor density equals to molecular mass by 2, or you can write molecular weight equals to 2 into vapor density. Remember, vapor density has no unit because it is the ratio of two densities, so it has no unit. So molecular weight equals to 2 into vapor density. This relation is a very important relation. Suppose carbon dioxide is a gas, okay, its molecular weight is 44, its vapor density is 22. Understand it? Vapor density is 22, molecular mass by 2. Sulfur dioxide is a gas, its molecular weight is 64 and its vapor density is 32. So remember it. This relation is very important. You can have you can have to take this relation for solving different problems. Now I am telling one thing you will read, that equivalent weight for elements, that is equal to atomic weight by valency. Equivalent weight of acid, that is equal to molecular weight of the acid by its basicity. Equivalent weight of a base equals to molecular weight of the base by its acidity. Equivalent weight of an oxidizing agent or reducing agent, that is equal to the molecular mass of the oxidizing agent or reducing agent divided by number of electrons taken part, number of electrons transferred. Transferred means gained or lost, number of electrons gained or lost or transferred during the reaction. Equivalent weight of a salt, that is equal to molecular mass of the salt by the total charge, either positive charge or a negative charge. Equivalent weight you can find out by many ways. Equivalent weight of a salt equals to the molecular mass of the salt by the total positive charge or total negative charge, because you know that charges are equal. You have to divide by total positive charge or total negative charge. Equivalent weight of acid equals to molecular mass of the acid by its basicity. Equivalent weight of base equals to molecular mass of the base by its acidity. Equivalent weight of oxidizing agent or reducing agent equals to molecular weight of the oxidizing agent or reducing agent divided by number of electrons transferred during the reaction. Okay, these things you will read, you will do by yourself. In the class, I will discuss it with examples. Okay, thank you.